So let's just dive right in. Imagine this. You see a flashing alert on your screen, you get a really weird email, or maybe a critical system just stops. That sinking feeling hits. You've been breached. Panic mode, right? What on earth do you do in that first critical moment?
Well, as it turns out, it's not supposed to be chaos. There's an actual playbook for this exact situation. It's a structured, methodical process called the Incident Response Lifecycle. And this framework, it was developed by the experts over at the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology. You'll hear it called NIST. It's basically the essential roadmap for getting through a cyber crisis.
And believe me, we need this playbook. Because here's the hard truth about cybersecurity today. It is no longer a question of if your organization is going to face a security incident, it's really just a matter of when. So being prepared, it's not just a nice idea, it's absolutely essential.
So, where does the response to an attack actually begin? You might be surprised. It doesn't start when the attack happens. Nope. It starts long before that. This is Phase 1, preparation.
And this is where things get kind of counterintuitive. The very first step in responding to an incident is getting your house in order, so you hopefully have to respond to fewer of them in the first place. This whole phase is about all the proactive work, the training, the planning, setting up your tools, that happens before any alarm bells ever go off.
Honestly, the best way to think about it is to imagine a fire drill, right? You don't wait until you see flames to figure out where the exits are. You practice. Well, this is the cybersecurity version of that, a controlled practice session for when a real attack hits. And a huge part of that practice is something called a tabletop exercise. Now, this isn't about testing your fancy firewalls or your antivirus software. It's more like a role-playing game before your security team and key leaders. You simulate a full-blown crisis to test your people and your plan. Do they actually know who to call? Do they know what their role is?
So what does this actually look like? Okay, let's use a classic malware scenario. Step 1, someone in accounting clicks a bad link in an email. Bam, the clock starts ticking. Step 2, you get the team together, IT, legal, PR, the execs. Step 3, the person running the exercise starts firing off questions. Okay, the malware's spreading. Who has the authority to pull a server offline? How are we going to tell our customers? This is how you find all the holes in your plan and you get to fix them before a real attack forces you to learn the hard way.
All right, so you've done your homework, you've run your drills, but eventually an attack might actually begin. And that brings us to the next phase, detection and analysis. This is all about learning to spot the signs.
So here we are in the second stage of our life cycle. This is the moment a potential problem goes from being a what if to a what now. An alert goes off, a user reports something suspicious. This is where your team basically becomes digital detectives, trying to figure out what in the world is going on.
Now, the signals your team is looking for, they really come in two flavors. First, there's a precursor. Think of this like hearing a burglar jiggling your doorknob. It's a warning sign. For instance, your logs might show a known hacking tool is scanning your server. The attack hasn't happened yet, but someone's getting ready. Then you have an indicator. This is the sound of the glass breaking. It's solid evidence an incident is happening or it already has. That antivirus alert popping up saying a computer is infected? Yeah, that's a big flashing indicator.
You've spotted the signs. The indicator is confirmed. The incident is real. Now the game just completely changed. You are not just watching anymore. You have to act, and you have to act fast. This brings us to the most intense phase, containing the damage.
We've confirmed it. That malware from our practice scenario is now real, and it's active on our network. The clock is ticking, and I mean every single second counts. This whole phase is just pure damage control. You've got to stop the bleeding, remove the threat, and get back to business.
This phase breaks down into three very clear, logical steps. First, you contain it. Stop it from getting any worse. Second, you eradicate it. Get rid of the problem completely. And third, you recover. Get everything back to normal, but safely. Let's break those down.
Containment is job number one. You have to put the fire out in one room to save the entire house. In our malware scenario, the fastest, most effective way to contain it is to literally pull the plug. Disconnect that infected computer from the network right now. That stops the malware dead in its tracks before it can jump to other machines.
So, once the threat is boxed in, you move to eradication. And this isn't just about deleting one malicious file. No, this is about a deep clean. You have to remove every single trace of the attacker. And this part is crucial. You have to fix the security hole that let them in the first place. You patch that vulnerability so they can't just stroll right back in through the same open door. And finally, recovery. This is where you carefully bring those clean systems back online. For that user's computer, this probably means wiping it completely and restoring it from a clean backup. That's a process we call re-imaging. You'd also reset the user's passwords just in case they were stolen. The goal here is to get back to normal, but also to be stronger and more secure than you were before.
Okay, the systems are clean, the business is back up and running. It is so tempting to just breathe a huge sigh of relief and say, we're done. But if you do that, you miss the most valuable part of this whole thing. Welcome to the final phase, learning from it.
So, the incident is over, but the work is definitely not finished. This last phase is what separates the organizations that just survive attacks from the ones that actually get stronger because of them.
Simply put, this is the lessons learned phase. It's a formal meeting, a debrief, where you analyze exactly what happened, what went right, what went wrong, and most importantly, how you can do better next time.
So what happens in this review? Well, you ask the tough questions. Were we fast enough? Did our plan actually work in the real world? Do we need some new security tool to stop this specific thing from happening again? Maybe we need to rewrite a policy or improve how we train our employees. Every little piece of data from the incident is fuel to make the organization more resilient. And here is the most critical part of this whole thing. The entire goal of this phase is to take every single lesson you just learned and feed it directly back into phase 1, preparation. And that's when you see that incident response is not a straight line with a beginning and an end. It's a continuous loop. The lessons you learn from one incident become the preparation for the next one. This cycle, this constant improvement, is the real heart of any effective cybersecurity program. You learn, you prepare, you respond, and then you learn all over again, getting just a little bit stronger each time. And that brings us to the final and most important question. This isn't just some process on a chart, it's a fundamental test of how ready you are. So looking at this entire life cycle, from the preparation all the way to the lessons learned, the question you really have to ask is your organization truly prepared for its when?